Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Conversation with Shenila. Today, we are continuing our PMBOK Guide 8 series, where we are exploring some of the principles and ideas that are particularly relevant to project professionals, not simply from the perspective of understanding them, but from the perspective of how we actually apply them. Today, we are talking about something that sounds very straightforward: be an accountable leader. But when we move from a definition to a real project environment, accountability can become much more complicated. What does it mean when a project doesn't go according to the plan? What does accountability look like when the project manager doesn't have complete control over the outcome? What happens when a stakeholder doesn't deliver on a commitment? And perhaps most importantly, how do we distinguish accountability from blame? So, to explore this with me today, I'm very pleased to have Atiq Rehman, project management professional, have more than 20 years of experience joining me. Atiq, welcome to Conversation with Shenila. It's wonderful again to have you with here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Shenila. Thank you.
So, before we get into the practical scenarios, I want to start with the principle itself. So, Atiq, when you hear the phrase be an accountable leader, what does accountability means to you personally?
Accountability. It is, for me, it is how you act when things get messy.
Okay.
This is a major accountability as a leader. It's easy to talk when projects are sailing smoothly. But when things get messy, when things are not going as planned, as what you call as per the stated objectives or whatever we were supposed to achieve, um, then how you act, that's the main thing as an accountable leader. So being a leader, owning the results, your actions and the decisions that you take, whether they are good or bad. So you own those decisions or not. This is accountability. It's one of the six what you call core consolidated principle in the 8th edition, be an accountable leader. So what the 8th edition has done is so tricky, because what the 8th edition has done is that in 8th edition, actually, they have merged the leadership and stewardship behaviors to take full ownership of your decisions. So your team performance, your project's ultimate results, rather than just managing the checklist of tasks. So this is what I feel being an accountable leader as per the 8th edition.
Okay. So, Atiq, let's take it one step further, right? We often use the word responsibility and accountability almost interchangeably. How would you distinguish between the two, right, in a project environment?
Responsibility and accountability, it is, as I just mentioned, that it's merged now. That I mean, you have to take the ownership of your decisions. So when you take the ownership of the decisions, so you are not only, I mean, responsible, but you are accountable for those decisions. You cannot blame others. You cannot blame your team. You cannot, if something goes wrong, if your project get fail, anything happen. So uh, what uh, what you have to do, you have to look into the mirror instead of pointing fingers on others. This
Yeah.
is what I feel when something goes wrong. Made this choice based on the data that you have. and you have to take the responsibility. Uh, and the thing is, immediate pivot conversation away from the blame and towards fixing the problem. So, I mean, you instead of putting blames, discussing these things,
Hmm.
you're because you're responsible also. So you have to direct, or you have to struggle towards fixing what went wrong. Because you waste too much time if you're blaming others. So it it can be accountability can be when a stakeholder challenges your approach. This can be you have to welcome friction with integrity and humility rather than getting defensive. This is what I feel. You must listen the pushback without interrupting or taking it personally. I mean, personally, this is being an accountable leader. You must. I mean, you have to be transparent and always try to share the why behind the strategy using facts, not the emotions. So I feel like you have to be very professional. I mean, whenever somebody asks me what's the definition of professional, is that for me, the professional definition is uh, keeping away your emotions from your work. This is
Okay.
professional. So, I mean, when you are accountable leader, you have to keep uh, your emotions away. Um, if the stakeholders
Hmm.
point out flaw, you must admit it. Being a leader,
Hmm.
try to adjust the plan, um, and then um, thank them for helping in saving the project from blind spot. That can be, especially being an accountable leader when your team is under pressure. Because in the situation when everybody is pointing finger, everybody's judging you, is calling your project a failure, anything. So not you, but your team is also under pressure. So what is what you have to act, how you have to act. You
Okay.
have to become a shield for your team. You have to be a shield. You have to protect them. This is as an accountable leader that you have to act upon. And
So
yes,
So I think it is fair to say that accountability is not simply about saying this was my responsibility, but it is also about being willing to stand behind the outcome, right?
absolutely. I
So
mean,
I think it
it's
is
more than
this
that.
is something where the accountability becomes interesting because projects are systems and there are multiple stakeholders, multiple teams, dependencies, suppliers, organizational decisions. And the project manager doesn't control all of them, right? So
True.
I think I talk about the accountability looks like, when things go wrong. For example, and there's a dilemma actually, the professionals get, right, in their real-time scenarios. So if I would give you a scenario that, imagine that the project manager is behind schedule and the project manager knows that, several important decisions were delayed by stakeholders and those delays contributed significantly to the schedule slippage. So the sponsor, comes to the project managers and says, why is my project late? That's an obvious question we all get, right? And at this point, the project manager has a choice. They can explain the stakeholder delayed their decisions so they can take different approach. But what do you think? What would an accountable leader do?
Yeah, I mean, in this situation, when uh, something goes wrong, or I mean, slippage of the schedule or anything, being an accountable leader, being a accountable project manager, let's say
Hmm.
leader is more, I would say it's too much. Let's say project manager. But if you, the accountable project manager, um, you have to have full ownership of all the decisions that you have taken. So
Hmm.
among those decisions, the schedule, the consignments that you were supposed to receive on time, all these things.
Hmm.
Uh, you have to not only take the responsibility, but also you have to give the solution. You must have some alternatives. I mean, the very, very important thing is, Shenila, that what happens that if we are in the situation, we lose our control, right? What is needed, you have to channelize uh, the the outcomes. You have to use your, you have to hold yourself. You have to evaluate all the alternatives, what are there, and try to propose or suggest uh, the solution that will bring you out of the situation. So if the situation you are in and your sponsor is blaming you and he's standing on your head and pushing you hard, the best thing he wants to listen is a solution, not a blame. I remember, it's like 30 years now, almost 30, I would say not 30, 25, 26 years back. I used to work for an organization. The MD of that organization used to shout on the staff a lot. And
Okay.
I don't want to name the MD because there might be a lot of people who might be aware of that gentleman. He's a big shot. So anyway, he used to shout and he used to listen from his office every second day that he's not only shouting, he's abusing and all these things.
Okay.
So what in the business, in the manufacturing concerns, in the marketing, you commit mistakes. Things happens. Whatever
Hmm.
you are trying, things turn negative. Sometimes what you were expecting didn't happen, especially when if you are in the garment industry. What happens is the samples might be wrong, something happened. Anyway,
Hmm.
mistakes
Anything
happens.
can go wrong.
So,
Yeah.
and when I investigated that in some cases he is the person have committed a big blunder, but he is silent. The MD is silent. But in some cases where the blunder is not big, the mistake is small, but he loses his control. So, what was happening was actually he was saying that he was a person that if you have made a mistake, own it.
Yeah.
Those who were owning it, he was happy. He was admitting, he was reconciling the situation. He was smooth and he was good with that person. But the person who was blaming others, let's say that the merchandiser is saying that the sample is wrong or is not right because the stitching went wrong or the purchasing did not buy the right fabric. So then he
Hmm.
used to lose his control. So this is my learning that you have to be accountable. You have to own. Um, you have to lead by example your team. That you demonstrate the exact honesty, transparency, and intelligence, and expect from your team, recognizing the team models, your behaviors, and all these things. This is what is needed. Adoptive leadership style, I would say, standard is asking that you have to have an adoptive leadership style. That is tailor your style, acting directly when the situation demands rapid clarity, and shifting from coaching role when building team capability. So, this is what is required trust and safety is very much important in this area. So it's lot to talk about.
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
take hours.
So let's move from, accountability and blame because, there is a very fine line between both of them towards the decision making, right? Because, let's say you are a project manager and you have to make an important decision, but you don't have all the information. And it happens multiple times. You know there is risk, delaying the decision also has consequences, right? So in that situation, what do you think what does an accountable leader do?
Decision making in you have to take the decision. What you have to do, the first thing that you do in the situation where you have to take the decision, try to fix the problem. What is the alternative that can fix the problem? And this is where the right decision is required. You are the leader. Your team is there to listen you. They want to follow you. Uh, instead, suppose that you are in a situation where things goes wrong and you find out that yes, something bad happened. Now, just think of it. What in the traditional way or the conventional way, what happens? But if when we are in the situation, we start digging, start searching that who is the culprit, who is the source of this mistake, and we waste our time in it, and we start blaming. We want someone uh, to shoulder the responsibility or to take the responsibility, and nobody is ready for that. What you have to do, you have as a leader, try to fix the problem immediately instead of blaming anyone and searching for. It gives a sort of, I would say, your team would feel better, uh, and the atmosphere that you have created would be psychologically safe. This
Hmm.
is the real important thing, that how you can make your project environment psychologically safe. And this what the standard is asking, that psychologically safe project environment. So because I am, if the people, if the team, feel unsafe, so they will not take, it will affect their productivity. They will not suggest anything. They will not take initiatives. So when they feel safe and they know that there is someone who's there to protect them, who's there to shield, who's there in between, I would say, let's say the owners or sponsor and the team, and who's there to protect or guard the team. So what you get in return is the sense of a sort of belonging. People, the team becomes yours team.
Yeah.
They know that the leader or the project manager is there when we are in trouble. He will protect us. So they will give you the best. This is the outcome, the real outcome. So it's not just one way traffic. It is two-way traffic. You do something, you get out of it. You get something in return as well. So this is what uh, the what you call it. Accountable leader is all about.
Okay. Definitely. So let's, the situation which I put in right now, let's tweak it a little bit, right? And suppose, 6 weeks later, the decision turns out to have been wrong, right? So what does accountability look like then?
Can you repeat your question, because I got hearing some
Okay.
problem.
So,
Yes, please go ahead.
okay. So, I'm saying let's tweak this situation. right?
Mm-hmm.
That the leader who has made the decision with the incomplete information, he knows the consequences of the delayed decision. Also, there was a risk, but still, he or she was accountable for making that decision, right? Now, 6 weeks later, right, the decision turns out to have been wrong. Okay. So now, what does accountability look like then? And it happens, right,
Uh,
in the real world.
um, how would I, after 6 weeks later, something, um, we in adaptive environment, we talk about the empowered culture.
Hmm.
In empowered culture, uh, we give authority, or we create the environment where the teams take um, decisions through consensus. That's what we do, like planning poker or something they do in their day-to-day decision making. So, I mean, if I'm the one and who have
Hmm.
to take decision, and I mean, there is a great chance that something, I mean, would turn negative maybe later, like you said, after 6 months or 6 weeks or something. I would go for consensus building among my team members. With the
Okay.
decisions that I'm gonna make in my team, I will try to develop the consensus. I will create the environment. I mean, for every decision. Uh, I will do the blameless postmortem. That is, I mean, during the retrospectives, or during any improvement meeting or decisions, when we are taking decisions, um, instead of blaming someone at the time when things goes wrong and we have to take certain decisions, I would ask for the consensus. I would ask for the feedback. I would involve my team. So everything everybody would be owning. So that's my solution. Probably some of the professionals won't agree with this solution, but um, this is my way out for such
Okay.
situation.
All right.
Yes.
So, and very well said, Atiq. So now let's bring this to our PMP aspirants, right? One of the things we
Mm.
see in the PMP exam is that a scenario may give you several answers that all sounds reasonable, right? That's the best part of it. So the challenge is not necessarily knowing a definition, right? The challenge is understanding that what is the leader's mindset in this situation. So if a PMP aspirant sees a question involving accountability, what should they look for?
Uh, they must value the truth. The first very important thing.
Okay.
Value the truth.
Hmm.
Alignment, focus on the value. What exactly is where the value is created. So, uh, building and I would say that what is the definition of done looks like, you have to look into it. Uh, because we do not only build the features, we deliver measurable results. So we have to see that the deliverable is only complete when it satisfies the customer needs. So the first thing is focus on the value, the situation if you are in. Second, you have to look into the shared accountability. That shared
Hmm.
accountability is ownership of mistakes. Uh, you have to see the situation, the question, is the project manager or the leader is taking the ownership of mistakes or not. This is what you have to do. Completely eliminate individual blame shifting. Um, Second is psychological safe promise. that the safety promise is there or not in the situation, and the leadership is shared or not. Every person on the team is expected to act with integrity and lead by example in their respective area of expertise. So these are a few things. Collaboration and empowerment protocol is also required. Uh, so if I go empowered culture, as I just mentioned a few minutes back, which is very important. And the question that you asked me, what
Hmm.
would be how the decision would be taken. So in the decision making, day-to-day choices are owned by the developers or creators. So the project lead only steps in for cross-functional stalemates or high-risk scope deviations. So this is what the decision making requires. Communication norms need to be set. Uh, Protect focus deep work blocks. Uh, Friction and debate needs to look into it. And the last thing is the shielding in the situations that
Hmm.
for the project leader, how he's acting. Is he protecting the workload or not? Is he removing the obstacles or not? Um Vulnerability, how he's acting for the vulnerability, the transparency by being the first to own up the strategic missteps or misalignment. So, I mean, there are a
Hmm.
lot of things. I mean, probably I have mixed a lot of things, a lot of thoughts
Yeah.
together. So,
Yeah, I agree. So
you
I
you
think it's
need to
wonderful,
combine
Atiq.
things. You need to combine things. Uh,
Hmm.
you have to be vigilant. I mean, it's very tricky in the PM exam.
Yeah, it
They
is.
are they are now. I mean, I feel like that the past was easy. When I got certified in 2007, it was very easy, and things are getting difficult and difficult day by day. Because the aspirants have to look on the concepts on in the exam, not to memorize things, but real concepts. And that's what we
Hmm.
are struggling through these conversations to discuss the concepts. I think this is the value we are adding.
I think all these I think things that you have mentioned, they all make sense. And I think there are some of the traps, right, which in my opinion the PMP aspirants should avoid. For example, immediately blaming someone, escalating too quickly, taking over someone else's responsibility, making a decision without understanding the situation, or simply reacting to the problem, instead of getting into the root cause. So these are something, I think, the traps which the PMP, I think, aspirants can see and can avoid when they see and respond to the questions around the accountability. So I think I would really like that, this was exactly when what we are trying to emphasize throughout this PMBOK 8 series, actually, that, it's all about less memorization, more thinking, and more application, right? And that's what we are looking at as the PMP and the PMBOK Guide 8 progresses, right? So much we are looking at with the new versions, right? And the way the PMP exam format is changing, updating, and the new exam content outlines are coming up, it going around three basic principles, right? Less memorization, more thinking, and more application. So more and more the project managers would be ready to face the real world problems, right? And try to be a better strategic leaders in that. So before we
True.
close, I would like to do a few quick questions in a rapid fire, as you know that. So I'll give you the situation, Atiq, and I like you to tell us what an accountable leader should think about first. All right. So are you
Mhm.
ready?
I will try. I will try.
Okay. Okay. So your project is going to miss a major milestone, Atiq. The sponsor doesn't know yet what you do. What would you do?
My approach would be first thing own the outcome
Hmm.
because I'm the project leader. I have to. Um I need to have a systematic action,
Hmm.
utilizing the schedule and risk, performance domains,
Hmm.
uh, collaborate with the engineering team to resequence or, identify the non-dependent tasks like interior plumbing or electrical roughs. I'm just giving you the predictive
Hmm.
environment example. So I need to see that if things are, what alternates we have to utilize and to fix this issues. So systematic action is required. And the third very important thing is I need to have a transparent governance.
Hmm.
Present a data-backed impact analysis to the project sponsor. I'm not going to hide anything from the sponsor. Proposing the clear trade-off choices with full transparency and instead of trying to hide the delay. So this is what my action would be, being an accountable
Okay.
leader. So because if I'm going to hide things, I'm not transparent, up to when I can do this. But these are the facts and figures, it will come out later on. So I must be, from the day first, I must have a proper impact analysis and
Okay.
very open with with the sponsor.
All right.
So
So
this
here
is.
is the second scenario for you, Atiq, that a senior stakeholder makes a decision that creates additional project risk. You disagree with the decision. What do
Mhm.
you do?
I disagree with the decision. I'm a team member or I'm a project leader. What is my
You are a
position?
project leader, but a senior stakeholder makes a decision that creates additional project risk.
Hmm.
So you
Okay.
disagree with that decision. So what would you do?
The very important thing if my approach in this situation would be uh, protect psychologically safe environment. If somebody
Okay.
has taken decision, I must act as a leader, as a shield, focusing the team entirely on the rolling back or, whatever. This high risk environment that the person has created or have developed, and it's under my command, have done something like this. So I must protect first, very important thing. Second, I need to have again, I would repeat the same jargon, blameless postmortem. That the decision or the situation that we are in, I need to have a retrospective, um, and instead of what you call a narrative from
Hmm.
who messed up,
Hmm.
I would go for what process gap allowed this uh,
Okay.
to happen. So there is a difference between blaming, searching for someone who messed up. I know that there is someone. Being a
Hmm.
leader, I know that the decision, whose decision put us in this situation. But he's a team member, so I'm not
Hmm.
going to blame him. I'm gonna talk about the system. I'm gonna talk about the process due to which things went wrong. So this is my and again, I will try to promote the empowered culture, collaboration, uh, try to empower my team, being a leader. Uh, I would create a new protocols probably with the team. So ensuring the collective accountability for quality of the future decisions. So these are the things that can be done.
Okay.
Uh,
I think very
what do
well
you think?
explained. So here's the last scenario
Uh,
for you, Atiq. You made a decision that seemed right at that time, right? but the outcome was not what you have expected. What do you do?
You know, I lost your voice again. I want you to repeat the question, please.
Okay. So you made a decision that seemed right at the time, but the outcome was not what you expected. So what do you do?
Obviously, I cannot blame anyone. Um, um, I'm an accountable leader. So if if my decision was wrong and or something went wrong, so I have to take the blame on myself. I mean, I have to own the decision, and but I'm not gonna what you call lose my track again. If it's like driving a car,
Hmm.
okay? And while we are driving a car, we take some wrong decisions also. Our judgments goes wrong. But it doesn't mean if something goes wrong, then I will leave the steering and let the car go. What I have to do, I have to control, I have to focus, I have to control the steering and use all possible what you call functions that I have, the brakes, accelerator, everything, to control the car and to avoid a big mishap. So small mishaps happens, but the leaders, the real leaders who are familiar with the situations, uh, take the control in their hand and they calmly handle the situation. They go for the alternative, the best possible alternative for to carry out the remaining project. So I mean. I give you an example that just come in my mind. You know, we in the projects, what we do in the earned value management, we have some projections, we have variances, and
Hmm.
we see that I mean we use the CPI uh, cost performance index to assess the forecast the future of the project. Normally this happens. So what we normally do, probably our project at that point of time might not be going in the right direction. We might be away from the schedule of the budget and everything. But when you have the CPI, you know what is your cost performance index, and you do the projections, and that is the time where you put new controls. You bring back all the what you call bad numbers to the good ones. I mean, you have to check. You have so this check will help you in uh, what you call protecting your project. Um, so I mean, this is how we normally do the projects. What do
I
you
think
think?
it makes sense. I completely agree on that because what I like about all these scenarios, if I would talk about it from the audience perspective, from the project management professionals who are watching it or who will going to watch its recorded version, right? That none of these scenarios, right, can really be solved by memorizing a definition. You have
That's
to
it.
understand a situation. You have to understand your role. You have to consider the people involved, and then you have to decide what an accountable leader would do. I think, Atiq, the way you have responded it, you were trying to dissect the situation, right? And then try to solve it, right? For the people, for the benefit of most of the stakeholders, right? And memorization doesn't do that. So that's exactly the message I have for everyone that, when you are even for the PMP, right? It is not I would say, the way forward is not the memorization. Way forward is the understanding the mindset, the principles, the domains, the processes, and then, move forward with that. And then you'll be able to understand the situations and the scenarios we're going to see in the exam. So,
Very true.
Atiq, before this has been a really insightful conversation. And before we close, I want to ask you one final question, as always. Um,
Wow.
if you give one piece of advice to a project professional, right? So, who wants to become a more accountable leader? So, what that advice would be?
Mm, who can be a more accountable leader, or
Yeah.
what the question
Who
is?
wants to be, who wants to become a more accountable leader?
Who wants to become a more accountable leader? Um, you have to be transparent, first of all. Transparency and openness is the key element, being an accountable leader. You're not going to hide things from the management, from the team. So that transparency is required if you want to be an accountable leader. Stop blaming others. Stop blaming others. Uh, you are the leader. If you are a father, for example, and your son do something wrong,
Hmm.
he's not supposed to be blamed.
Yeah.
It's his father who's supposed to be blamed because he was the one. Probably he missed something. He did not properly guided his son. Did not give him the right direction. Did not provide the right or facilitate him. So,
Hmm.
whom to be blamed is you yourself. So, first is transparency and openness. Second, stop blaming. And the very important thing is communication, dialogue, collaboration, consensus. Um, Whether it's a predictive environment or whether it is an adaptive environment, you need to have an environment, you have to create the environment where the people can feel psychologically safe to speak, to share their knowledge, their experience. So this is what I think would
Okay.
be the right thing.
That makes sense. And thank you, Atiq. I think one of the key messages we can take away from today's conversation is that accountability is not about finding someone to blame when something goes wrong. It's all about taking ownership, making thoughtful decisions, communicating transparently, and learning from the outcomes. And creating an
Absolutely.
environment where other people empowered to take ownership as well. And
True.
for
Very true.
everyone preparing for the PMP exam, I hope today's conversation reinforces something important. Don't just ask what is the right answer. Ask what is really happening here. What is my responsibility as the project leader? What would an accountable leader do next and why? Then shift from memorization to thinking and application is exactly what we are trying to encourage through this PMBOK Guide 8 series. So thank you everyone for joining us. And thank you again, Atiq, for being part of Conversation with Shanila. Until next time,
Thank you.
keep learning, keep questioning, and keep thinking beyond the obvious. Thank you, bye, and take care.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Thanks.